Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and this will be the review for episode 1 and 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, because for some reason, and I don't know why, Disney are dropping 2 episodes a week. So they're not dropping it weekly, as in 1 episode a week. They're not dropping it all in one go to binge watch it. They're doing 2 at a time for reasons best known. And I believe there's 10 episodes, I think. It's either 9 or 10. I think it's 10. But the first 2 are out. And when we just did that video the other day about the showrunner saying, give it a chance because the animation, you're seeing it all chopped up in that teaser. It plays and looks completely different in context. And the main actor himself saying, I thought it was going to be annoying and woke, and it isn't. Yeah, they're both full of crap. This thing is literally DEI the show. That is what this is. Every character, like almost every single character, is black, Asian, African, Hispanic. They're everything bar white. Do you know who are the white people? Yeah, you've probably guessed it already. The villains. Yeah, because the first criminals we kind of meet are a white guy. The first criminal we see Spider-Man actually apprehend is a white woman. And it just goes on and on. Yet, almost everyone in the school that he goes to is of colour. There's no whiteys there. It's just like, wow. Even the teachers are all black and brown and licorice, all sorts, really. As for the stories, they're only, each episode I think is like 24 minutes long. That with credits, I think if you take the credits out, they're probably only about 22 minutes long. So in the first episode, it starts where we're learning straight away that Uncle Ben's not around, that he's already dead. But Peter isn't Spider-Man yet, so he's starting a new school for technology. And we get introduced to Aunt May, and he's always late. That's the one thing you learn in both us. He's always late. Even before he got the spider abilities, he was always late for things, for whatever reason. But he has a bit of a heart-to-heart with Aunt May at the school. He misses his train, so she picks him up. She's driving by and picks him up. And she's got a little Iron Man figure hanging, like a little bobblehead hanging from her mirror. And they have a bit of a heart-to-heart, and it's weird. Oh, they tried to make Aunt May, even though it's animation, you can clearly see they're trying to make her young again for some reason. And he gets out of the car and he's like, it's going to be a great day, nothing's going to stop me today. And then a big portal opens above them and it's Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is actually decent in it. He's only there very briefly. He doesn't really interact with Peter Parker or anything. He comes out fighting this weird, almost a Venom looking thing. And he realizes, it sounds like he realizes he's maybe in the wrong timeline or something for his reaction. But he fights this thing, and while he's fighting, you see a spider coming out of the portal. How the hell a spider is coming out of a portal? A tiny spider on its web coming out of a portal is beyond me. There's no indication of what this is hanging on or anything. But Doctor Strange defeats this thing, and as he leaves, the portal closes and cuts that bit of web, and the spider falls and it lands right on top of Peter. And Peter is getting introduced now to the girl who everyone thinks is MJ. She's not MJ. She is called Nico. So, but yeah, there's no MJ and there's no Gwen Stacy in this thing at all. And that's even coming from people who've seen all 10 episodes. If you heard Chris Gore talking, he's seen all 10 episodes and he said flat out, yeah, there's no Gwen Stacy and there's no MJ. So he meets Nico, and as he's learning her name, he gets bitten by the spider. By the way, the spider's not the typical red and black spider that he was always bitten by. It's blue and black for some reason. But he gets bitten by it, passes out. The very next thing we know is he's waking up and he's on his ceiling in his bedroom, and clearly a lot of time has passed because he's fully embraced his powers and everything. We don't see any of that. We don't see him learning about his powers or anything like that. He just wakes up the next day, or at least the way it's structured, it looks like it's the next day, and he's Spider-Man. He's already been doing Spider-Man things. He's already got... Now, his spider web shooters, he has the little switch in his palm. He's got the little kind of jet fire yokes for them on his wrist, but they're connected. Big wires go down, and they're connected to a gas tank on his back that he can either up the pressure or lower the pressure. But his suit is also not the Spider-Man suit. And this is where we're going again in, are they trying to just make him Miles Morales? Because the only thing that's somewhat recognizable for him to be Spider-Man is the actual hood. His, like, face mask and all that. Except he wears goggles. So it's the eyes aren't even a part of the mask. He puts goggles on. But he's wearing, like, a hoodie and tracksuit bottoms. It's like, okay. And a pair of sneakers. We call them runners this side of the world. For some reason in America you call them sneakers. But why there's this big time jump seemingly, and why you just don't learn anything about any of them it's just strange. And his first thing he does is he saves who, we don't find out his name, but it is Harry Osborn, the very effeminate looking black guy in the green suit with the cornrows and the earrings, the one where people were going, we're not sure whether he is Harry or whether the jock looking dude in the school is Harry. The jock guy is not Harry. He's Lincoln. What's his first name? Is it Malcolm Lincoln? I think it's Malcolm Lincoln. And there's a issue or storyline featuring, or that's intertwining Peter with him, because Peter has a crush on the girl who was his babysitter. So does Nico. So it's confirmed Nico's gay as well. So yay. But the character who he loves, or is in love with, is named Pearl. But she's now dating the jock, Malcolm. And he thinks they're going to have to do a science project. They have to pair up with other people, but the class can choose who they want to pair up with. And he thinks, oh, if I pick Pearl, she'll see that I've matured and that I'm not just a kid anymore, and blah, blah. And they're like, oh, Lincoln wants to be with Peter. And he's like, wait, what? So, and this character, now, what they do with this character is your typical BS from Disney and Hollywood, and in particular California, which is the whole racial profiling and all that crap. Literally. So he meets Peter sees him and Pearl kissing, and she's going to some practice or something, and he's like, oh, hey, Peter. And Peter Parker walks up and he goes, oh, what's up? And he's like, what are you up to now? And he goes, oh, I'm just gonna go home and whatever. You gotta go home. And he says, chillax. Not relax, chillax. And Lincoln says, I hope it's Lincoln, I'm pretty sure it's Lincoln, says, oh no, I've got some things to do at home and all the rest. And he goes, okay, see you later. And he goes, okay. And then he goes, and we follow him home for some reason. But while he's walking home, the first thing that happens is he's sitting on the train, and there's empty seats beside him, and an old woman, white woman, and her kid, or maybe it's the grandchild, walk up, look at him, and the mother looks at the kid, and they go, she kind of nods and, oh, come on, and walk away because, oh no, we can't sit beside the black dude. The very next scene is him walking from the train station down the sidewalk, and you hear the cop car go whoop whoop, lights flashing, the cop pulls up, and he looks behind him, and the cop is just sitting there driving beside him, staring at him. It's like, come on, guys, really? Like, this is literally a kid's show, and this is the crap you're shoveling into it. Ridiculous. And the first episode ends with Peter getting home. This is where he he captures a woman who you don't know it's a woman until thing. This is the funny part as well with the woman. He comes back to a pizza shop that's just been robbed. Obviously, the owner is black. He goes, hey, sir, is this money yours? And he goes, oh, thanks. He goes, yeah, this is who stole it and stuff. And she starts crying and goes, I've just lost my child, blah, blah, blah. I just saw the money there. I don't know why I did it. I'm so sorry. And Peter Parker immediately goes, hey, maybe we should just give her a break. It's like, what? Because she's a woman. You're willing to... All the guys he's been capturing in this show, he's been pinned into the wall, pretty much taking the piss out of them. calling the cops on and all, but he catches a woman, and it's like, hey, we should give her a break, you know, give her a second chance. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, come on. But he ends up going home, or the guy gives him a free pizza. He's eating it in an alleyway for some reason, putting the Spidey suit back in his backpack, finds a DVD player, something sitting there. Whether or not this is leading to something, we don't know, but there's just a DVD player sitting on a dumpster. That's perfectly fine. So he takes that, he goes home, and as he's getting home, there's a real swanky car outside his place. He takes a photo with it, he goes in, and they redo the scene with Tony Stark in No Way Home, or not No Way Home, Homecoming, just with Norman Osborn, you know, where Peter walks into the room and Aunt May's trying to tell him, like, we got company, and he's like, yeah, da. And then he turns around and there's Tony Stark and stuff, and Happy. In this case, he turns around and there's Norman Osborn, and he offers him a position for an internship at his company, and Peter accepts and stuff. So we go into the next episode, and he keeps ending up late, because every time he's going to go somewhere, something happens that he ends up having to become Spider-Man. No Spidey senses, by the way. That's the one thing that we've noticed. Nothing's happening with, there's no Spidey senses. It's always he's either walking past something that's happening and goes, oh no, or he sees it on the news. He doesn't seem to have the Spidey senses, which is strange. But he arrives late, he walks in, everyone once again, by the way, he's told, Norman told him, oh, once you get to the job, by the way, make sure to tell security and stuff that I want to see you in my office personally. And he arrives in, and he thinks he's on time. He's like, I think I'm 2 minutes early. And the guy says to him, you're 15 minutes late for us to do your ID and stuff. And he says to the security guard, like, here, look, Mr. Osborn wants to see me, so if you could tell me where his... And he doesn't believe him, and he gives him his thing, and no one seems to believe him. Everyone's laughing at him. Everyone he says this to, like, Mr. Osborn wants to see me, they're all like, oh yeah, gunning for the head of the company he is already. But he arrives into the room, and the first thing you notice, once again, all the scientists that are around are all people of colour, and mostly women. The first one you see has a hijab on, then the next person you meet is a woman. The woman is someone who he has to go with. He goes in, the next person you meet then is another woman who's from Wakanda, a black woman from Wakanda, and a Chinese dude. Then they're introduced to the doctor, or a doctor, and this guy isn't happy because he's like, I told Mr. Osborn I didn't want any interns, and he gives me 4. And they're all eyeing for some positions, and Peter wants to be in computer tech because he wants all the new gadgets and stuff, but he doesn't get it. Instead, he gets electric science, or whatever it is, energy science, with none other than Dr. Connors. That's right, the lizard. Only it's not the Dr. Connors we all know and love. No. It's Carla Connors. That's right, it's now a black woman, because why wouldn't it be? And what we know, by the way, coming down the line, is Rhino will be in this, and that'll be a woman too. Yes, they've even gender swapped Rhino, because why not? There's not much interaction with them. Again, he ends up seeing on the news this guy starting fires, and he goes and tries to put it out, and ends up really kind of making things worse. The guy's burning down the wrong building, apparently. The guy's like, I'm not a monster, I made sure the building was clear first. He's meant to be burning down some block to make way for apartment blocks or something on 52nd Street, and he's on 51st. And then they end up fighting in a vet or pet shop or something. It's either a vet or a pet shop. Peter throws him out the window, and he goes in, lands in there, and when he goes down, he starts burning that down and ends up knocking him out. But he saw that happening on the news. Like, they're flicking through the channels, and he's like, oh, don't change it. And they're like, why? It's just the news. He's like, oh, I really like fire. And all that. And the end of the second episode is he finally gets actually called up to Norman Osborn's office. He comes in, he's trying to say, look, don't fire me, I know I screwed up today, blah blah blah. And Norman just turns the computer screen around, and it's Peter in the stairwell putting on the Spider-Man gear, and it ends with Norman Osborn going, so you're Spider-Man. And that's where it's horrible. It's actually horrible. The theme tune to the show is that stupid rap song from the trailer. That's your theme tune. And music like that is throughout the entire thing. It's just all this hip-hop, rappy, absolute horrible crap music. The animation is horrendously bad, to the point, and very lazy. I said in one of my videos that actually it was the video there the other day with the them saying it was going to be woke and the showrunner saying give it a chance, was that a lot of people were noticing that the animations, particularly characters in the background, don't move. That is exactly the case. Even when things are happening, everything in the background sits still. Now, not in every single scene, but the majority of the scenes. And it really sticks out in that first episode when he goes to the school, because everything in the background doesn't move. It's like, it's so strange. And the other things that are strange and make no sense is a lot of the buildings, the areas they have him in, he's in Queens, but the areas he's in, all the buildings seem to be no higher than like 5 stories. And yet he's doing the full Spider-Man swinging through the streets. But you're seeing him firing it, and the web seems to be going straight up. And you're like, what the hell is that connected to? Like, what's he... he's swinging through the street. What's he connected to? And how is he swinging through the streets with buildings that small? It's so strange. It really is. And of course, once you notice that, you can't unnotice it. It's like, ooh, and the same with when you notice the characters in the background don't move and stuff. As soon as you notice it, you can't stop seeing it everywhere. So yeah, I'll probably give the rest of them a try. I really don't know. They're very short, but nothing happens. It is annoying, and it is incredibly woke. It's 100% woke. So with that is the review for episodes 1 and 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. With that, I'll leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.